What's up, guys? Welcome back. Sigma Swag Podcast, Episode 8. Today, we're going to be talking about social media and how it has changed pretty much everybody's life, but we're more going to hit on how it's changed the dating world. So, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun times. Ready to rock and roll through this social media charged dating world. This dating pool now has poop in it thanks to social media.
It's full of shit. It's a sewer. It's a sewer of single hoes just sloshing around. Every once in a while, someone will see. Have you ever heard the term one man's trash is another man's treasure?
They found the floating turd.
They found the floating. No, they found the floating hoe, who happened to be a turd.
Yeah, so we were discussing not too long ago how everything is so much different now than it was even 15 years ago or so, and how social media has really had a huge part to play in that, and just the basic general degrading of this whole process, and it's just been pretty sad. So we're gonna talk about that today. We're excited about it. What do you think we should cover first?
Well, when I think of social media changing dating, what comes to my mind is that I think you're really, it's almost, you have to be very careful because you can fall for the lie that you actually have a lot of options when in reality you don't. It might appear that somebody is into you. It might appear that somebody is available. It might even appear that somebody is more attractive than what they are, and you haven't met a lot of these people. A lot of these, nicer looking people that have good genetics, that work out and take care of themselves, have all these other people that appear to be the same across their social media, and it's just like a pool of whores, like male and female. Like no one, they always stay single, or if they do happen to find somebody, it never lasts long. So
Yep.
I think that it really paints a false picture of what your options really are as a single person or even a married person these days. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I've seen some woman post some inbox screenshot of some married guy or someone who's engaged or has a girlfriend. I mean, it's just like every other day. It's insane, really. It's insane. And my thing is, why?
It's a free for all, and people get it into their heads, like John said, that they've got all these options, so they don't see the value in sticking it out with and building and investing in just one person when these people have got it into their heads that they can just replace instead of repair. They can have, instant gratification instead of investing and reaping the returns in the long haul. And you see it so many times. People will get on there, like he said, married people, people in relationships, uh, and it's a free for all because unfortunately nobody sees the value in things anymore because we've become a push button society where we can have everything instantly at our fingertips. And in a way, having information like that is good, but we all live in this world together, and you all know what I'm talking about. Um, Having that type of access to everybody constantly has been way more of a negative thing than it has a positive. 100%.
Yeah, and I don't believe that anything, not even just social media, but just anything that exists is bad, but people can turn around and make it very bad very quickly, and that's only human nature to do that anyways because I mean, man by nature is sin. I mean,
Sinful and destructive.
sinful and destructive. That's why we need a savior. But anyways, I'm going down a rabbit hole like sometimes I'm famous for, but that's because I have a lot of thoughts coming to me all at once, and I have to get them out. So, but that is a huge problem that didn't exist before social media. So social media has been introduced to us, and now it's just given people a platform to continue to be evil and continue to do wrong and to seek out that validation. And really, it just exposes how big of a problem there is just worldwide with people. I'm not even going to say mental health, although that is a big problem, but I think it's just a problem internally that everybody has, where they themselves, they're not happy with who they are, and so they're constantly trying to find that validation and that missing piece in somebody else, which is why really people go through all these people. The term actually, I don't know, have you ever heard this? It's called serial daters.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Serial daters, I mean, they're going to break up with Captain Crunch one day, and then they're with Cinnamon Toast Crunch the next, and then they're with Reese's Pieces, and then Cocoa Puffs is over there texting them, and Frosted Flakes is, well, they're great till they're gone. And then Tony the Tiger slides in and claws, and then it's just
a
fruity, here comes Fruity Pebbles.
A cereal free for all. Yeah, Fruity Pebbles is the final boss. Yep. And you know what? That's it. That's it right there. Is just people have gotten so used to getting validation off of social, women especially, and the establishment, the powers that be, really planned this out well. I think this isn't by mistake. This was by design. They figured out humanity, and they know exactly how to hit us. By they, I mean, the elite, the powers that be, the people who control the world. They know and understand humans and how we react, how we respond, how we will behave under certain situations. And it all started, I believe, with them separating the family, getting the woman out of the house, getting her into the workforce. After that, now we're seeing where the whole sex positivity movement started, in the late 60s, early 70s, where it became more of a free-for-all. Now we're starting to see...
women were empowered.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, well, that's a topic for another day, but, you're seeing now where instead of getting their validation from God and from their husband or whoever, women now are in relationships literally with their Instagram account, because they'll get tens of thousands of likes when they post a bikini picture. They get all of this attention. So of course, why would they settle down with just one man? Like, they're getting all this attention, everything that makes them feel good about themselves being a woman, they're getting from these social media platforms.
Their screen.
Yeah. And and not only the attention, but a lot of these platforms pay these people to do this. Like, once you get a certain amount of followers and views and whatever, you can monetize it, and there you go. You've got your money, you got your attention, you can pick and choose, who you want to mess around with any given day of the week. There is no need really to settle down and be traditional and have a family. Only after you've lived a whole life like that and you hit, your mid-30s, early 40s, then do these women start realizing that path was the wrong one.
It was all in vain.
And it was a lie, because at the very basic core of our beings, family and children and things like that are things that really matter. And a lot of people sadly don't realize it until it's too late, because they get to, these ladies get to the certain age where, like, wow, they realize they're alone. They missed it. They missed out. And by then, a lot of times it's too late. You know what I mean? These pregnancies, later pregnancies, they're a lot more risky. And you're probably only going to have like one child, maybe. If you would have wanted more, it's kind of iffy whether or not you're going to have more or not. And it's all thanks to social media.
Yeah, social media and the master plan of the master. What are those people called that control the puppets?
Puppet master.
Puppet masters, yeah. Duh. That was interesting and very powerful what my brother just said. And it's interesting that I have said this on another previous episode, how the devil likes to work exactly like that. And that's interesting that this same, I don't know, like attack plan, you could call it, keeps coming up. And
same strategy.
The same strategy. And he will give you a lie, and it'll be painted in such a pretty picture. Everything is great. This is the right way to go. My life will be easy. And it's going to be, I'm going to be earning lots of money and so on. And then all of a sudden, after living the lie that you've been given for so many years, then all of a sudden one day you wake up and you find that that was the most empty, unfulfilled lifestyle that you ever had. And it's never too late with God, but it may be there are consequences to your actions, and it may be too late for the lifestyle that you wish that you would have chose back in the day when you were younger. And it's interesting too that women mainly, when you are that age, like what Joe said, pregnancy is risky. So what does that tell you? It says that God must have intended women to be younger mothers.
Yep.
And to have multiple children, because God knows us better. He knows me better than I know myself and Joe and everybody else and you guys watching this. And he programmed us all a certain way, men one way and women another, and that's it. So for him to set things in stone and for men to try to change it, the devil really, and unfortunately people fall for it, and then, this is where we end up in this twisted and warped society where people are constantly seeking validation because they themselves don't really know who they are because they're not grounded. Yep. They don't have a direction to go in. A lot of them live for here and now, and it's a huge, huge problem.
Yep, you see it so many times where people will, they'll work their job and they literally just live for the weekend when they can go out and drinking and partying or whatever. And, there's only so long that you can realistically do that. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it's empty, ultimately. If that's all you're living for is to go and post Instagram stories of how great you're predicting, or what's the word, projecting your life to be to other people through social media, that's a useless, empty existence, and you were created to do far more than just post on Instagram.
Yep, it's a waste of a life. Thankfully, we haven't fallen for this trap. There are plenty of people who haven't. But, it's definitely something that's worth being talked about just because it has had such an impact on everybody's life that, honestly, like me and him were talking the other day, I would be cool if, like, all the social media just disappeared tomorrow. Like, it would be fine. Like, we would be so much better off without it. Yeah, it's nice to be able to keep in contact with certain people and, post memes and stir the pot or whatever, but ultimately,
oh my God, a memeless world. Oh no,
that would be awful. But anyways, yeah, we can see it. It's literally like you could see a fruit rot in real time, and that's what it is. It's like it's rot,
and it's so subtle that I don't think people realize what's happening. Like you brought up something that was interesting, how these women actually can make money off of their bodies through social media. So then, they obviously don't become monetized from day one. So they gained all this attention through showing off their body. They're young, they're beautiful, they got it going on, they look great. And then, follower by day, they grow, and all of a sudden, however many followers it takes, I don't know, I don't care. They monetize, and then they are now forced to, if they want to continue to grow and earn that money and not have to work a regular job, they are now forced into that, constantly posting. And what gets me, though, these women have this platform, but they wouldn't if men wouldn't be on their phone thinking, oh, maybe she'll message me back, and they're, oh, gorgeous, all the same thing.
Stunning.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. I wish all these men on here would would really see you for your true beauty and not just a set of titties like the guys that are trying. There's a couple different dudes, a couple different personalities below a woman's photo like that. You could break it down, and actually we should go through and name the few different ones. Because there's the guys that's like very generic, like absolutely gorgeous. Then there's the guy that's actually, he's trying to be different, but it's so obvious that he's trying so hard to be different that he just sounds like more of a loser than the generic
simp. All
guy.
the simps, the herd of simps has arrived.
He's like the simp leader, the leader of the simps. He's the black simp of the family.
He's like, oh, you're so much more than just skin deep, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Then he sends her a big message of, I'm going to shoot my shot. And he proceeds to type a big paragraph of why she should choose him. And he's like, reads it over one more time, proofread it, and like, all right.
And then it gets ignored.
Then he starts sweating after, and she opens it. He sees when she's on. Oh, she's active. All right, any minute now. This is what I'm gonna say when she responds to me. I'm gonna go on a date with her this weekend.
And then
he ends up settling. He subscribes to her OnlyFans, and that's the best he gets.
Yep.
Miserable.
That is
$7.99.
That is a good point,
all.
though. That is a good point.
Through a screen.
Oops. It was my turn. It was my turn.
You scared the microphone.
I did.
The microphone's like, what? I subscribe to OnlyFans.
Simp. But no, for real, he had a really good point. It's, if men would stop simping, there would be nobody to pay for these OnlyFans, and then women would be forced to take on a more traditional role.
That's all that has to happen, and it's always okay. Let's go back from like ground zero. Adam and Eve. Adam, he had titties in his face, so I probably would have ate the fruit too. But had he not, we would be we'd all be naked eating fruit right now.
Yeah, and it'd be great. But so that's the thing, right? All it takes is one side to make a change and stick to it. Yeah. It doesn't, the women don't have to do it. The men don't have to, like, one of them has to do it. One side or the other has got to make a change and take a stand. And honestly, I mean, the way that people are, I mean, it's never going to happen.
No, you know why? I'll tell you why exactly that will never happen is because people, men and women alike, are not grounded. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't know their purpose. They're unfulfilled. They need that validation from the opposite sex constantly. And they're always going to try to seek that out through the easiest way because humans are always drawn to the path of least resistance, which is why 99% of people never really get anywhere and live up to their true potential in life. So they're always going to need that easy validation from the opposite sex, so via social media. And then so on the path, the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats, and it never gets better. I've had conversations with women before, and it's interesting that this stuff now is all of a sudden and just as of recently becoming talked about more and more. It's kind of like everybody all of a sudden has woke up to the lie that was people believe.
Yeah.
And it's that if women want to be wives, they want to be taken seriously. They want a man to be loyal to them and love them and provide for them and be a good man to them for a lifetime. The one easiest way to find that is to stop sleeping with men.
Yeah.
If women would stop sleeping with men until they had a diamond ring on their finger, that would solve so many problems.
That would. Because right now, sex is free pretty much.
It's too easy.
Like, we could walk down the street and get it. Like,
and it's for
not
different.
hard.
Each gender seeks sex out for a different reason. For women, I believe that they seek it out as a means to feel loved. That's one of the reasons. We could go extremely deep into this, but I think for majority speaking, that is one of the biggest reasons, to feel loved. They think that's the only way to get a man's attention. It is for the time being, but he's going to have his eye on something else. If he's getting it too easy, it's going to cause issues. But on the other hand, on the contrary, I think men, when they want sex, it's just purely physical. It's not like, oh, I love her so much, I'm just going to go inside her and just absolutely destroy that because I just love her so much. like, I love you so much, baby. Oh, you did the dishes so fast. Love the way you fold that laundry, baby. Oh, yeah. You pack my lunch so well.
I mean, there definitely
it's mainly
are
physical.
there
for a
are
man.
definite differences as to why we like both parties needs. I keep hitting this stupid microphone. There are definite differences to why people seek this stuff out, but the common denominator is that it does happen. We both sexes do need it. And you know what? It's kind of funny. I was having a conversation with somebody here recently, and like we were talking about why men act the way they do when they get older. And I explained to her, I was like, well, because she was saying how she thought it was weird how the younger men, like in their early 20s, all are the ones that want a serious, committed relationship. They want a family. And the older men that, are, 30s plus are out here hoeing around, not wanting that.
Acting like the younger kids
Exactly.
would be expected to act.
Right. And I explained to her, I was like, well, here's why this is. Every young male dreams about finding that one girl that he can just fall in love with, build a family with, and go through life with. But instead what he gets are all these young women that are out here hoeing around, getting smashed by the football team, partying, drinking, making terrible decisions. They never give these young men what these young men want. So when these young men turn into older men, 30s plus, the roles reverse. Because when women hit 30, they realize, oh, snap, their biological clock, they realize it's ticking. They're like, I need to settle down. I need to get a family. Well, by this time, they've already treated these younger men that wanted them so horribly. They've ignored them. They've cheated on them. They've, played with them. They've acted like they didn't matter. Now that these young men have become older men, they can get any woman that they want now, pretty much, right? Just like when the young women could get any man they wanted, they played around and had fun. Now that these men are older and they can get anybody they want, these women who disregarded them before now expect them to act right. Yeah. And these men,
it's
because
like, okay, I'm ready now.
Yeah, and men are very practical and logical creatures. Okay, you're not going to do that to us and then expect us to just act right for you. That's not going to happen. So what happens is these men get older and they start hoeing around, and now these women are left,
dickless
and familyless and all this other stuff because they all fell for the trap. They all fell for the lie. Yep. They were running around when they were younger. They didn't want to settle down and be a decent human being. They wanted to go out, drink, party, make bad decisions. Now that the men are in the position they were in, the men are doing the same thing now. They're like, no, you can keep it. You've been ran through. You've been used up. You didn't want to settle down when I wanted to. Now that, you have a couple of kids by a couple of different dudes, you've, been ran through by the whole entire village, there's no way I'm going to log down with you. Unless, she finds herself a simp who's like, oh, your past doesn't matter. It's fine. I'll accept you for who you are. No.
It's okay, baby. This will be my 100th dick.
That's not how
he'll
works.
Still feel like a winner. Like, oh, I'm winner number 100.
Yeah. So that's why that is. And all of this can play back somehow, some way into social media because
social media provides a very powerful platform to host this haram.
That's right. And I can remember, growing up in the days before social media, there was a distinct difference, just even in just like the general, like just the atmosphere, I guess, for lack of a better term to put it. You could just sense it. You could just sense that a change is taking place, and it's not for the better.
No, definitely. It's just further and further decline. And it's probably mainly in the Western world, which is where we live. We live in America. I've not really been to any other countries, and I haven't been in the dating market in other countries, so I can't say for sure. I'm sure some places there's some absolute horrors, but I think the number of places that has traditional good women who are worth marrying, that is the type of woman that a good traditional young man that's hardworking would want. I think that number is much larger than the number of hoe towns.
Yeah, it's in the countries that are a lot more traditional, that have a lot. There are governments that severely limit social media.
Yep.
You know,
Well, now they're even here. You have to log on to the porn sites. I think is a good thing. It's one tiny little step harder. Like when I say log on, you have to verify your age and go through this process.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were posting about it on social media. See, that's how interesting is that? Everyone's all crying, "Oh, Pornhub, Pornhub!" Like through a screen, you're gonna be affected by something going on in the internet, something you can't even really see, and you're gonna just have something to say about it on social media. Like you're gonna tell social media that you're pissed off because Pornhub wants a picture of your license. Like what a fruit basket, man! Like you're the whole fruit basket. You're like a freaking rotting pomegranate.
Did you pick pomegranate because it starts with a P, like Pornhub?
Maybe I don't know. It just came to mind. Like I just was thinking of
probably
all
what it
like
was.
just picked a random fruit from the whole fruit basket. Pomegranate.
Pomegranate for Pornhub. That's pretty sad. You know, it
is sad. And it's what else is sad too is the fact that people are so comfortable and that it's so accepted that they're fine with posting that on social media. Think about that. That's like your personal business and you're just going to go post something about it on social media for everybody to see. It's like no shame. I think that people have become too desensitized to certain things, and it's not for the good. And you know what happens when that happens is further rot and further decline, and we end up where we're at now with 8 different genders and
there's more than 8.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, I saw this article the other day where there's like 50-something different genders.
And if anybody has a good recommendation for me and Joe where we can learn and stay up with the times as far as, learn about the new genders and things like that, we'd love to learn about all the new genders so we know how to properly use everyone's pronouns. We don't want to offend anybody. So we want to make sure and be extremely good men. And if there's any OnlyFans women watching this that do content with fans, let us know because we would absolutely love to sign up. And
oh yeah, totally.
We'll be your cheerleaders. God, that even pains me to say that.
I know, right?
I need to ask forgiveness of my sins.
I feel like I'm about to get hit by a bolt of lightning.
It's like the roof, the studio's gonna collapse. The camera's gonna catch on fire. But you know what's crazy too, man, is like there's these OnlyFans girls. It was just Valentine's Day, and like they have boyfriends and whoever like giving them flowers. Like what? I would spend $0 on
that's
an
what you get
OnlyFans girl
with
who's
simps
showing it, and they're like, "Oh, she's such a good girl, and she's loyal."
It's
and
just
all
a
this.
job.
Yeah, it's different. It's
Okay.
just it's for OnlyFans. What do they call them? OnlyFans creators.
Is that
What do you create? You're creating a miserable future for yourself. That's all you're creating. No one really gives a fuck about your podcast, your OnlyFans.
It's true. I mean,
I
you
was
know
gonna
what?
say that's the word pussy. Yes, I say pussy.
There was this article that I saw that was going through statistics, and the number one like subscription or whatever in the United States is OnlyFans.
No,
like that. Like most men, that is their number one most subscribed to thing.
that's insane. Rewind all the way back to ground zero. If men have the power, all they have to do, they want to talk about women making all this money and stop subscribing to OnlyFans. Take it away.
Yep.
Don't stop. Who gives a rat's ass about titties that you're paying for. Like, who cares? Like, that girl only cares about you when you pay your bill every month.
And even then, she doesn't even know your name. She doesn't even know who you are.
They have a manager on the other side of that chatting with you and trying to sell you like extra bonus package, I guess it would be.
I have no idea. Whatever. But the point is, this is why we harp and come down so hard on men, because we have all of the power. And for some reason,
we want to act like we don't. Not us, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just sad, honestly. That's why this exists right now, because we got fed up with all these weak dudes just
being cucks.
Yeah, allowing life in general to roll over them. And it's created such a terrible dynamic.
Yep.
That
it leaves everybody unhappy.
Yeah, literally.
Man and woman.
So, I mean, if anybody really cares about what's going on, it's time to stand up, and it's time to start, being accountable. And it's time to start taking your position back as a man. And it's time to start behaving like a man and stop, acting like a spoiled little boy.
Yep. The biggest problem there is that the spoiled boys who were spoiled by...
Well, hold on. Let me stop you right there. The biggest problem here is that due to the fact that the government has been dismantling the family unit, is that all the men nowadays have been raised by women.
That's what I was going to say. Go ahead. Continue.
Sorry. Women cannot make a man. They can give birth to a male, but to make a man, it takes a man.
Yep.
Okay? That boy can't learn what's never shown. And a woman cannot show how to be a man. She just can't.
Nope.
All right?
I give them credit, though, because they do try. They try their best. You have to, if you're a single parent, you have to try to be the good guy and the bad guy. You have to try to be mom and dad. You have to try to pay bills and have energy for the kids. It's extremely difficult, and we definitely don't look down on you for trying. We're just stating the fact, and it is a fact, that, like what Joe just said, you cannot reproduce a man. A woman cannot develop a young boy into a man. It takes a man. Exactly what you just said.
Yep, it does.
It takes a man. Women weren't meant to do that. They were meant to nurture their husband and to be a helpmeet for him.
And the husband then, in turn, raises the children and instills his values into those children.
Yeah, strength, bravery, just manly shit that, the mother can't do, even though she tries. And, when the kid is playing with dad or working with dad and he gets hurt, he gets a little boo-boo, he runs and cries to his mom.
Yeah, because males we're not really like, oh, you're hurt, let me. No, we're like, suck it up and put some dirt in it, you're fine.
Yeah, keep going. Then he runs to mommy, and then, you're like, all right, little Johnny is going to grow up to be a man one day. We can't cut him down before he fully blooms.
I mean, it's funny that you bring that up, because there was a girl I was dating last year, and she babied her kids. And this kid, the youngest one in particular, whenever he would get hurt or whatever, he would scream and cry and go run for, for empathy and stuff. I came into the picture, and when he would do that, I'd be like, oh, get up, you're fine. I'd punch him on the shoulder, and like he was starting to act more like a boy should act.
You toughened him up.
Yeah, that's the significance of a male figurehead in a boy's life. Every boy wants to bond with a male figure, like a father figure.
They want somebody to look up to. Like, have you ever been a kid and watched a superhero movie, and then all of a sudden you want to be Batman or you want to be Superman? Yeah. Of course, every boy has. So how much more real could that be in actual real life, with a boy looking up to like a real life superhero, which is their male figure? That's absolutely necessary. And you take that away, you cripple in most ways the next generation.
Yep,
and then
you
end up
stunt their
subscribing
development.
to only. You have a bunch of
You stunt their
generations
development.
of old OnlyFans subscribers.
That's it. You stunt their development. That's what happens.
Yep. And you end up being the fat, short, bald guy. That's actually, it's interesting. This is off topic, but it's interesting. So I was actually reading that high estrogen is the cause of that in men.
I believe it.
So
I think I've heard that
short,
too.
Fat,
Yep.
and bald.
Mm-mm-mm.
We're not short, and we're not fat.
We're not
and
bald.
We're not bald. We have that high testosterone.
We had our father in our lives, thank God. Wow, we were really blessed to have the upbringing that we did.
We had a great upbringing. We had a very traditional, very masculine father who was hard on us, but also very loving. And it wasn't one of those things where it was like overboard or too much, it was just enough to be able to groom us to be successful men and to be able to make it on our own. Like if you have somebody, like another human that you're in charge of, you know that you need to set them up for success because guess what? You're not going to be around their whole life.
Yep.
That's true love. True love is tough love. When you really love somebody, children, your friends, your spouse, yourself, you're going to be hard on that person and you're going to be very honest. If your friend is injecting heroin or meth or however it works and whatever it is into their veins, you're going to, if you care about them at all, you're going to take that away and smack them like, you're like, no, what are you doing? Like, no.
Yep.
And the same thing goes for children. You can't coddle these little kids. Oh, you want to be a girl? Okay, we'll go get you a sex change. Little Johnny wants to be a girl. Okay, honey, whatever you say. Turns on ESPN.
All right, whatever. And he's
All right, maybe if we go take Timmy to get a sex change, I can get my pee-pee wet.
sad.
As he scrolls
Sickening.
through his OnlyFans feed.
Disgusting. I honestly think that, if there ever is a woman that I find good enough to marry, we'll probably just completely delete our social media or severely limit it. Because I don't, as the gatekeeper and the sentinel of my family, it's my job, my responsibility to make sure that we're safeguarded from things.
You're
and
the protector.
Yeah,
That's
I'm the
absolutely
protector
your
of
job.
my house.
It's your
So
job.
I feel like it would probably be good just to severely limit it at the very least, how much of that goes on.
That's smart. That's definitely your call. And, if you have somebody who has their social media monetized, obviously I think it should be very obvious that if they're using their body for that, then you shouldn't be taking that person seriously. But if it's someone who, I don't know, is a fitness influencer, even then I think that can get very hairy. And if they're not willing to limit that and for the sake of your relationship, then that's a huge red flag, and I would definitely try to fix it. And if you can't, then you need to just wipe your hands clean and move on. And I wouldn't put very much effort into trying to fix that, because what's going to happen, she'll agree for a little bit, and then once you're locked in, then she's going to go right back to that, which means that she's trying to seek validation outside of where the source, where she should be getting it from, which is you. So I wouldn't mention it just because sometimes people may not know how you feel. So go ahead, take the initiative and, be proactive and be the communicator. Communicate that. And if it's not well received, then move on to somewhere it will be. Or move on, better yet, to somewhere where you don't have to even have that conversation.
That's a great alternative right there. I like that.
We should probably do the second one.
Do that. Make that your plan A.
Yeah.
That's your plan A.
That's your plan A. But everyone should agree on the expectations for social media going in, because social media can really cause a lot of problems, and it's really very easy to start talking to somebody new on social media. And on the contrary, it's also extremely, extremely easy, effortlessly easy to not have other people from the opposite sex on your social media. It's how hard is it to delete somebody or to ignore a friend request? It's literally so easy.
They have block buttons for a reason.
They have block buttons. It is not that hard. Like, it's the easiest thing. People are the ones that overcomplicate this stuff. It's really, really so easy. It's disgustingly easy, and it's disgusting that people try to complicate it. Like,
it tells a lot
blows
about
my mind.
It tells a lot about a person if they have an issue deleting somebody off of social media. Because I mean, if you're sitting here trying to build a relationship with them, but they're still wanting to hold on to these other people, like those other people
They're holding on to their validation.
Yeah, exactly. Those other people are not in a relationship. Well, they might be actually. I mean, you never can tell.
You never
days.
know if they're still trying to. That's a light form of keeping your options open. And if you are in a committed relationship where both parties have came together and agreed that we are exclusive and we see a future with each other and we want to build with each other and they can't give that up, run. Don't even oh, well, can we maybe talk about no. That right there is absolutely a big no-no, and just don't even try. I don't care how invested you are. Get out of the investment, count your losses, and move on and find somebody who is on
you
the
should
same
be
page.
willing to disrespect the entire world
Yep.
for your person. And if you're not willing to do that, then
That's why I find women that are extremely hard to get in the beginning. I find them attractive for a few different reasons. One is, as a man, we're natural hunters and we like a challenge. And if we work very hard for something, we're going to appreciate it a lot more when we get it. And we love the thrill of the chase. If these women out here are giving it up too easy, we're men. We're probably going to do it, but we're also not going to take her serious, and we're not going to really feel fulfilled like we accomplished something. But on the other hand, if you have this woman who's very hard to get, she's not rude, she's not a bitch, but she's just it's hard to get her attention, and you're trying for a long time and finally you break through. Like, that's an awesome feeling, and that's something that you would want to keep.
yeah, yep. Scarcity brings value.
And then also, the next reason for what I just was talking about was when you have somebody who's hard to get, then that means that other people can't easily have her too.
Yeah, a woman,
and that she's more likely to, tell these other guys
a
to
woman,
piss off.
a woman who isn't able to be reached or touched by anybody else is massively valuable. Massively.
That's priceless. I mean, that's every man's dream.
That right there is the ultimate flex.
Yep, having a beautiful woman who no one else can have.
Yep.
And in order to have somebody like that, you have to be a masculine man, completely in your masculine. You cannot have any bitch DNA. You can't be a pussy. I mean, you gotta be on point yourself as a man. You have to respect yourself and be a respectable man, and then you could have a woman like that. Can you imagine then the next generation that dynamic will produce? It's gonna keep going.
Yep. It would be the type of generation that this world needs. That the type of people that everybody is looking for right now. That's what that generation would be.
Yep.
But it's going to take a lot of hard work and sacrifice, and honestly, just a lot of people just aren't up for it these days. But like I said in the last episode, it's like a pendulum, and it's starting to swing back towards morality, towards masculinity, towards women actually being feminine.
Yep.
And not the government created term for it. So that's good. I mean, thankfully things always go in a cycle. And I think what we're starting to see is a lot of people are, like John said earlier, they're all starting to wake up to this and realize. And so we're starting to see a shift, which is great.
That's why we started this podcast, because we want to at least help the movement in a small way as much as we can. We're going to do our best to do that. And it's almost like a kid that wants to go do something on his own. That's what that reminds me of. Like, have you ever seen those videos where these kids are all sad and crying, like they got in trouble or whatever, so they pack like a little bag and then they tell their parents, "I'm running away." Like,
Oh, yeah, I've seen
okay, all right, I'll miss you. And, they let the kid walk like outside.
He
like,
walks
up,
down to the stop sign,
and then he comes back and he's crying. He hugs his parents. That's almost kind of like how we could say that this whole world has kind of gone to. It's almost like they've fallen for the lie and believed it and lived it, and then now all of a sudden they're finding out that it's not all that it was talked up to be, and it's actually leaving people lonely and miserable, unfulfilled, unhappy, and they just aren't grounded. They don't know who they are, so they've all fallen for the lie. But now they're coming back crying. They're looking for these traditional people, but they're going about it the wrong way. So we're here to try to be a help for everybody and kind of help steer people in the right direction, in the way of traditional masculinity, traditional femininity, and just traditional roles as a whole.
Yep, and it's happening. It's coming. Thankfully,
it's a movement.
It is. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. You guys look for us on the next episode. We hope you guys are gonna be all doing great until then.
Stay happy and stay healthy and keep kicking ass.
That's right. Stay dangerous.
Unsubscribe from OnlyFans. We'll see y'all.
Take it easy.